Maybe it's just me, but I don't think these doctors learn this shit in medical school.
Affirming hysterectomy is very similar to most hysterectomies that occur. A hysterectomy itself is the removal of the uterus, the cervix, which is the opening of the uterus, and the fallopian tubes, which are attached to the sides of the uterus. Some gender-affirming hysterectomies will also include the removal of the ovaries, but that's technically a separate procedure called a bilateral oophorectomy. And not every gender-affirming hysterectomy includes that, and people who are getting gender-affirming hysterectomies do not have to have their ovaries removed.
And that was Dr. Frances Grimstad. She is the attending physician of gynecology at Boston Children's Hospital, and she wants to let us know about gender-affirming hysterectomies. Although they may claim they're doing this on children, or should I say young adults 18 and over, we all know that's bullshit, because they're pushing this movement more and more and more about this gender-affirming care and gender-affirming surgeries. But basically what she's saying is they're performing these surgeries, and sometimes they remove the ovaries, sometimes they don't. Well, if I had a daughter who said she was a dude and she wanted this surgery, A, it's not going to happen while she's under 18, and B, even if she was an adult, I would do everything in my power not to make it happen. Because as the years go on and she gets older, her way of thinking is going to change. And then when she can't have children, when all of her friends are having children, and she's walking around like a dude, there's going to be problems. And they talk about transgender suicide. That's one of the reasons, because these doctors are performing these bullshit surgeries on kids. They're taking a young girl and taking out her productive parts, if you will, so she can't have children in the future because she's 14 or 16 or even 18 or 20 and she knows she's a man. That's absolute bullshit, and I can't believe such a prestigious hospital like Boston Children's Hospital is doing this shit to these young people, and they're getting away with it, and no one seems to have a problem with it. This is what the federal government wants. This is what the federal government will fund, because we all know Big Joe, Sleepy Joe, is a big backer of this gender bullshit, because these are the ones who are voting for him, because not many other people are voting for him. But this next doctor, she's telling us how parents know their kids were trans, or how their kids knew they were trans. Have a look at this.
They have any ability to express themselves, and parents will often tell us this. We have parents who tell us that their kids, they knew from the minute they were born practically, and actions like refusing to get a haircut or standing to urinate, trying to stand to urinate, refusing to stand to urinate, trying on siblings' clothing, playing with the quote opposite gender toys, things like that. There is more and more a group of adolescents that we are seeing that really are coming to the realization that they might be trans or gender diverse a little bit later on in their life. So what we're seeing from them is that they always sort of knew something was maybe off and didn't have the understanding to know that they might be trans or have a different gender identity than the one they had been assigned. So that is a growing population that we are seeing, and that's being recognized as being trans and able to be treated.
And that's Dr. Jeremy Carswell. Jeremy could be a dude's name, right? Could be a girl's name. I don't know if that doctor's trans, nor do I care. But she's explaining that parents knew that their kids were trans because they didn't want to get their hair cut, or they didn't want to stand up to urinate or sit down to urinate, or they were playing with other, say if it was a girl and she had a brother, the girl was playing with her brother's toys, or the brother was playing with the sister's toys, and that's a sign that they're trans. Are you fucking kidding me? Way long ago, when I had hair on my head and I was a kid, I didn't want to get a haircut either. Tell me you don't know a kid who fights, or if you have children who didn't fight you when you took them for their first haircut. That is such bullshit that you're going to use that. That's science. Did you do a big experiment on kids or who didn't want to get their hair cut, whether it was a boy or a girl, and you said, oh yeah, they don't want to get their hair cut, they must be trans. Get the hell out of here. And some of the parents told her that these kids knew from the minute they were born that they were the wrong gender, they were in the wrong body. How could people get away with this? These are licensed physicians working, again, for such a prestigious hospital, and they're doing this gender bullshit. And this Carswell woman, she is the director of Gender Multi-Specialty Services. They even have a department for this. They're physicians. They learned this long ago in med school, that there's two genders. There's males and there's females. But because of the times we live in, you can be whatever you want, and it doesn't even have to be a human gender. They're going to push it, and they're going to have specialty departments for it, and they're going to have high-paid doctors who specialize in this for all the woke families who want to come in and say, my little Sarah, she's only 4, but she plays with her brother's G.I. Joes, or she plays with her brother's robots, or whatever. So I'm pretty sure she's a boy. Do what you got to do. And they are destroying these kids every step of the way. And by giving them surgery, even, like I said, even at 18 or 20 or even 25 or 30, if you have a female and you're giving that female a hysterectomy because they say they're a man, that is so wrong in so many ways. I could see if it was medically necessary, if it was a life-saving procedure they had to do, that they had to remove this female's reproductive organs, that's a totally different story. But if you're only doing it because that female said she's a dude, that's absolutely wrong, and it should not be happening. Because again, who's to say that these females some years down the road are not going to regret their decision, are going to want to have children of their own that they gave birth to, and they won't be able to. Once you remove the parts, you can't put them back. They're not Subarus, okay? These doctors, these hospitals, these politicians, all of this bullshit is nothing more than a political stunt to get votes, to get funding for their programs that no one gives a shit about. Let these people run around and be whoever they think they are, because no one cares. But to harm someone by giving them hormone blockers or surgeries is absolutely wrong, and it should be illegal, but it never will be under this administration we have right now, because this is their way to re-election, so they think. This is their way to votes, when people either do it online or by mail, because that's usually how they get their votes, or if they actually go physically to a voting place. This is how they win elections, by pretending that this stuff is normal, by pretending that they care about it, and yeah, they'll fund it, but they don't really care. This is all political propaganda to keep these fools in office, and they're destroying young lives every single day because they're allowing doctors to sit with children and counsel them and put it in their heads that yes, you look like a little girl, but I can tell by what you're saying you're really a boy. Stop the nonsense. We need politicians and physicians who care about people, who care about their health. We don't need politicians and physicians who want to destroy people's lives like these two doctors and like the politicians we have in Washington. And that's it. It's unbelievable, and this shit needs to stop. If you haven't already liked this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, you won't miss an episode. Share my videos with someone if you will. Drop a comment down below, let me know what you think. I hope everybody's healthy and safe, and I'll see you real soon with something else. Have a great night.